You know that feeling when what you're dreaming of making feels just miles away from what you're actually producing?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We've all been there, right? Like a
Yeah.
business idea that's still just, well, an idea.
Or that song stuck in your head that your fingers just can't quite find on the guitar.
Exactly. Or even just learning a new skill at work that feels like, I don't know, climbing a vertical wall, that gap.
Hmm.
It can be pretty frustrating.
Absolutely. That whole feeling of wrestling with something, of not quite hitting the mark you aimed for, it's pretty universal, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what we're diving into today. Think of it less like your own private struggle and more like this shared landscape we can, figure out how to navigate a bit better.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources and pull out the essential stuff, giving you what you need to know quickly but thoroughly, too.
Get you right up to speed.
Yeah. And today we're getting into Art and Fear, Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making by David Bayles and Ted Orland.
Great book.
It is. And look, while the title says art, honestly, the insights in here, they're gold for anyone learning anything new.
Totally. Tackling a tricky project, putting your ideas out there in any form, it all applies.
Definitely.
What I think is so powerful about Art and Fear is its main message, really, that making stuff art, sure, but also like mastering new software, whatever, isn't some, magical talent only a few people have.
Right.
They argue pretty convincingly, I think, that it's actually rooted in skills you can learn. And crucially, being willing to just engage with the whole messy process.
That right there, it just takes the pressure off, doesn't it? That feeling that you need some kind of innate gift you might not have been born with.
Exactly.
Poof, gone.
And the way the book's laid out is really helpful, too. It starts with, the common problems.
Yeah, the basic struggles.
And then digs into the specific fears that always seem to pop up, like our own self-doubt, worrying what other people think.
The usual suspects. Before kind of guiding you towards finding your own approach, looking at how the wider world, interacts with creative work.
They even touch on some bigger picture stuff, right? Conceptual ideas, finding your own voice.
Yeah. And the authors, Bayles and Orland, they know their stuff. They're experienced artists themselves. Bayles, a painter and writer, Orland, a photographer and teacher.
So they bring this really practical, grounded perspective. It's not just abstract theory. It's like wisdom they've earned from years of actually doing it, wrestling with their own work.
It feels real. So, okay, our mission for this deep dive. Let's unpack some of the key wisdom from Art and Fear. Specifically for you, the learner, who wants to get to grips with these ideas without getting totally bogged down.
Yeah, cut to the chase.
We want to understand why these hurdles pop up, whether you're staring at a blank screen, a complicated spreadsheet, or maybe a scary new job role.
And most importantly, pull out some actionable things you can actually use, like right now.
Okay, let's jump in. What is it about making something new or learning something new that just feels like such an uphill battle sometimes?
Well, the book opens with this really striking image, doesn't it? Unfinished drawings, unwritten stories.
Oh, yeah. Instantly relatable.
Totally resonates with that feeling you mentioned, those projects we start all fired up, and then they just fizzle out. And a key idea here is that often the potential of that unfinished thing, the perfect version that's still just in our heads, can feel way more real, maybe even more satisfying than the messy business of actually trying to make it.
That rings so true. It's like the dream stays perfect until you actually try to build it and bump into all the inevitable imperfections.
Exactly. Collision course with reality.
And the book also points at something interesting that, unlike maybe in the past where big institutions gave you a framework.
Like the church or specific traditions.
Right. Now, we're often doing this stuff in a more uncertain space, driven more by our own internal engines.
Yeah, think about it. If you're creating something for a specific commission, say back in the Renaissance, that's a different vibe than making something just because you feel compelled to, right?
Totally different dynamic.
And that lack of a built-in structure that can amplify those feelings of, is this even worth it? What am I doing?
Which brings us back to that crucial point you made about learnable skills.
Right. Bayles and Orland are really clear on this. Making art or, mastering any skill, it's fundamentally about developing the abilities, accepting where you are right now in the process.
Self-acceptance.
Yeah, and finding your own unique way of doing it, your own voice.
They even suggest that what we often call talent is, well, mostly just hard work and perseverance dressed up as something magical.
Yeah, that's a big one. They share that story, I think it's a photography student, someone who seemed to have this amazing natural gift early on. But they quickly point out even that initial spark needs years and years of work, of practice, to really become something substantial. That person's an exception, not the rule.
So the takeaway is basically, don't sit around waiting for talent lightning to strike. It's about actually doing the work.
Exactly. It reframes the whole thing. It's not, am I gifted? It's, am I willing to learn and put in the effort?
Okay, so you've started, you're putting in the work, but then you hit that wall. That, familiar frustration. The gap between the amazing thing in your head and what's actually appearing on the page or screen.
The vision versus execution gap, yes.
It's like you hear this incredible symphony in your mind, but all you can manage on the piano is, like, chopsticks.
Yeah. The book shares that really relatable bit from David Bayles, right? His own piano lesson.
Yes, with a master teacher. And he said exactly that the music just sounded so much richer, so much more complex in his imagination.
And the teacher's response is key here, basically. Yeah, that's normal. That gap, it's always there.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No. The finished thing, the song, the project, the report, it's always going to be a translation, like one step removed from that first perfect idea. So the real work isn't about, like, flawlessly copying the vision straight out of your head from the get-go. It's about holding on to the essence of that vision.
Okay.
And guiding the actual work you're doing as close to it as you can. Think of the vision like a North Star, maybe. It guides you, but you're not trying to literally land on the star itself right away.
That's actually really helpful. Takes the pressure off needing immediate perfection.
Totally. And the book talks about this idea, they call it an imagination of the possible.
Right. What does that mean exactly?
Think of it as focusing just on the very next thing you can actually do.
Ah, okay.
The next line of code, the next brush stroke, the next paragraph outline, whatever it is. Instead of getting completely overwhelmed by the huge, distant, finished thing.
So focus on what's right in front of you, what you can actually work on now.
Exactly. Breaking down that massive ideal into small, manageable steps you can actually tackle.
Makes sense.
And they include that great quote from Stanley Kunitz, something like, "The poem in the head is always perfect."
Oh.
Resistance begins when you try to convert it into language, which just nails that friction, right?
Yeah.
Between the idea and the reality.
It really does. And the book keeps stressing that uncertainty. It's just baked into the process.
Yeah, part of the deal.
You're not supposed to have all the answers right from the start. And that's fine. They give some pretty powerful examples, too.
Like who?
Well, like the photographer Jerry Ullsman, apparently he destroys most of the prints he makes each year.
Wow, really? Most of them?
Yeah, because they don't meet his standards. Or, Tolstoy rewriting War and Peace over and over again.
Okay, so even the masters are constantly wrestling with it.
That's the point. These examples really normalize the struggle. It's not a sign you're failing. It's just how it works when you're creating or learning something meaningful.
Right. And the authors make this lovely point about how making art or learning something, it's often like starting a sentence before you know exactly how it's going to end.
I like that analogy.
You have to leave some room, room to respond authentically to what's happening in the process, to the materials, to the unexpected things that pop up.
So it's less about total control.
Yeah, maybe less about control and more about being willing to embrace the mistakes, the surprises, seeing them as part of the journey, not deviations from it.
Okay, so challenge is normal. The gap between vision and reality is normal. Uncertainty is normal. But then there's that other thing, that nagging feeling, I'm just not good enough.
Yeah, that was huge and so debilitating. The book talks about the pretending fear.
What's that?
It's that feeling that you're just like faking it, going through the motions.
Yeah.
And that the real artists or the real experts, they have some secret knowledge or inherent understanding that you just don't have.
Oh, I know that feeling. Imposter syndrome, basically.
Really? But the authors hit back with something really powerful. You can't actually pretend to make art or pretend to learn a skill because the very act of doing the work, wrestling with the material, solving the problems, putting in the hours, that is the evidence. You can't fake the process itself. The work is real.
Huh. That's actually a really strong counter. You can't fake the doing.
Right. And they also tackle that idea that talent means it comes easily.
Yeah, people think that, don't they? If it's hard, you must not be talented.
Exactly. But they point out, look, progress by definition involves hitting difficulties. If it was always easy, you probably wouldn't be stretching yourself, you wouldn't be growing.
Good point.
And they emphasize something really freeing. Whatever abilities you have right now, that's exactly what you need to make your best work at this moment.
Wow. Okay, so stop wishing you had different skills and just work with what you've got.
Precisely. It shifts the focus beautifully. And then they get into the paralysis that comes with perfectionism, using that fantastic story about the ceramics class.
Oh, I love this one. Tell it again.
Okay, so the teacher splits the class, right? Group A gets graded purely on the quantity of pots they produce, just sheer weight.
Right, churn them out.
Group B, they only have to make one pot, but it has to be perfect.
The pressure.
Totally. And the surprising outcome, the quantity group, the ones just making pot after pot after pot, they ended up producing work of higher quality overall.
Oh.
Because they were constantly making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, trying again. They got tons of practice. The quality group, they got so bogged down in planning and worrying about perfection, they barely made anything.
It's such a perfect illustration, isn't it? How chasing perfection can actually stop you in your tracks.
Completely. By just getting on with it, the quantity group learned iteratively. They embraced the process, mistakes and all, and got better.
It really underlines that making things, learning things, it's a human thing to do. And humans make errors.
Yep. And those errors aren't failures, they're feedback. Essential feedback.
Like little signposts saying, maybe rethink this bit or try developing that idea further.
Exactly. So even when your work feels flawed or imperfect, that's not just okay. It's actually a vital part of how you get better.
Okay. But then you actually, maybe finish something or you start using your new skill and another fear creeps in. What will other people think?
Ah, yes. The fear of judgment. That vulnerability is intense.
It really is. You're putting a piece of yourself out there, essentially. Yeah. And the idea of it being misunderstood or worse, rejected, that can be really daunting.
The book talks about this sort of time lag that often exists between when something new is made and when it actually gets accepted or understood.
What do you mean a time lag?
Well, they give some great historical examples, like Stravinsky's Firebird. Apparently, it got pretty negative reactions at first, and now we think of it as relatively accessible music.
Huh, really?
Yeah. Or Robert Frank's photo book, The Americans. Hugely influential now, right? Foundational. But when it first came out, it was kind of obscure. It didn't sell well initially.
Wow, so it takes time for people to catch up sometimes.
Often, yeah. It's a good reminder that those first reactions, they aren't always the final verdict. And the authors make this really useful distinction, too, between acceptance and approval.
Okay, what's the difference?
Acceptance, in their view, is like your work gets acknowledged as being real, as being part of the conversation in your field.
Yeah.
It's counted.
Correct.
Approval is just whether people like it or not.
Ah, I see. So they're not the same thing.
Not at all. And you can definitely have acceptance without widespread approval. Think of controversial but important works.
That's a really crucial distinction for you, the learner, to grab hold of. You might be developing a skill, creating something that's really authentic to you, but it might not get universal applause.
Exactly. And ultimately, the book argues the most important question isn't, does everyone approve? But rather, is this work genuinely mine?
Does it reflect my perspective, my learning journey?
Yes. Is it authentic to you?
Okay, so we've got all these fears swirling around, the difficulty, the vision gap, not feeling good enough, fear of judgment. How do we actually navigate all this? How do we keep going?
Well, the book does offer some really practical ways through. One big one is building a supportive community.
Like finding your people?
Yeah. They suggest connecting with others who are doing similar things, sharing work that's still in progress, getting feedback and encouragement from peers.
Instead of just aiming for validation from, like, big institutions or the anonymous public right away.
Exactly. It shifts the focus to a more immediate, hopefully more understanding network. And they also really stress finding the motivation within the work itself.
Intrinsic motivation. Nourishment from the process.
Yes, because if you're only doing it for the external rewards, the praise, the sales, the promotion, it can be really crushing when those things don't show up right away, or ever.
Which they often don't, at least not immediately.
Right. So that inherent satisfaction in just learning, the joy of figuring things out, the engagement with the process itself that needs to be a major driver.
That makes sense. You have to find value in the doing.
And they also highlight how even the attempts that feel like failures, the projects that don't quite work out, the learning curves that feel steep, they're actually invaluable.
How so?
They teach you things, they provide crucial lessons, they're part of your overall growth, even if they don't result in a shiny finished product right now.
It's like every attempt, even the ones that miss the mark, is still moving you forward somehow, adding to your experience bank.
Precisely. And they talk about just paying attention, noticing what genuinely grabs your interest, what sparks your curiosity.
Following your nose, kind of.
Yeah. Make things or learn things that actually talk to you, that you feel drawn to, and then listen to the feedback you get from that engagement, both internal and external.
That natural curiosity, that's a powerful engine.
It really is. And the book also touches on habits, how developing consistent habits is key for skill development and also for finding your own style.
Ah, right. Style isn't something you just decide on.
Not really, according to them. It's more like an inevitable result of doing something repeatedly. The way you consistently approach problems, the choices you habitually make that becomes your style.
So focus on the process, build the habits, follow your interest, and your unique approach will naturally emerge.
That seems to be the idea. And ultimately, they tie all these struggles in art or learning back to just being human.
Yeah.
That constant interplay between desire, wanting to create, wanting to learn, wanting to achieve, and fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. That's just part of any worthwhile thing we try to do.
It's a fundamental dynamic, isn't it?
It really is. And just recognizing that these fears are normal, that they're part of the journey for pretty much everyone, not some sign that you specifically are flawed. That can be incredibly empowering, I think.
Okay, so let's boil it down. For you, the learner, seeking those quick but solid insights from art and fear, what are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive?
Okay, I'd say three things really jump out. First, that gap between your vision and your current reality, totally normal. Everyone experiences it.
Yeah.
It's the territory you navigate, not a sign you're lost.
Right, don't let it stop you.
Second, imperfections, mistakes, embrace them. They're not failures. They're crucial learning tools. They're feedback. Listen to them.
Okay, learn from the errors.
And third, shift your main focus. Less on desperately seeking external validation and more on finding genuine satisfaction and value in the act of learning and creating itself. Enjoy the process.
Absolutely. Remember, the learner, the struggles we've talked about today, they're pretty much universal. Getting your head around these dynamics from art and fear, it can really give you the power to approach your own learning, your own projects with maybe more self-compassion.
Yeah, definitely. And a stronger focus on the journey, not just obsessing over the final destination.
So maybe something to think about as you carry on with your own path of learning or creating. What specific hurdle, what rock, as the book might say, are you navigating right now?
Yeah, and how might changing your perspective a bit, seeing it less as fear, maybe more as just feedback from the process itself?
Yeah.
How might that change how you approach it?
And maybe consider this too. Those things you see as flaws right now, those shortcomings in your work or your learning, they might just be the seeds of your most original ideas, your most unique contributions down the line.
That's a great thought. What could happen if you actually leaned into them a bit instead of trying to stamp them out?
Interesting question.
And look, if these ideas have sparked something for you, we definitely recommend checking out the full book, Art and Fear. Just reflecting on how these observations connect with your own experiences can unlock even deeper, more personal insights.